right, I think we're back. I'm just making sure right now. Looks like we got audio working. Domry's back there eating some food. Only thing we don't have up right now. Let's go ahead and kind of get our Lumia. Let's get Lumia on up. We have to go ahead and get Social Stream Ninja as well. That's gonna throw our chat up on screen, and there goes a damn light. Cool. We're gonna put that back up real quick, guys, and we'll be up and running. We are very late tonight, but we're gonna jump into things anyways and make what progress we can. You guys can type into the chat exclamation point followed by a primary color, and you guys can make my lights in the back flicker there. Just know once we do switch over to the game, that probably won't be noticeable for you guys, but I'll still be able to notice it back here. So anyways, guys, we are going to be jumping straight into Lord of the Rings: The Third Age. We're going to try to follow up with some LOTR. No guarantees we hop into LOTR tonight since we are starting off pretty late. My main goal is to go ahead. We got to beat Lord of the Rings: The Third Age. We got to beat it. And we gotta beat it before May 4th, because May 4th, we're gonna be doing something a little bit different, guys. But anyways, let's go ahead and do this. Do we have chat pulled up? I believe we do. That's good. We can close out of that. We gotta get Lumia ready to go. All right, everything looks good. All right, guys, we're gonna be jumping right into Lord of the Rings: Third Age. Let's get everything pulled up. All right, guys, we have to. Ooh, man. Okay, so game capture on, Elgato off. Is that all we gotta do, really? Oh, it's my. That's what it is. PS2 emulator. We got it. Hey, we got audio and everything, guys. That's sick. Let's go, dude. All right. So I can close out of these tabs. Yo, guys, let's go. All right. Thinking everything's looking all right over here. All right, let's do this. We gotta plug our controller in, guys, and we'll be ready to go. Cannot forget our lucky necklace with the one ring. Oh man, I was gonna put my headphones down. There we go. All right, guys. Third Age grind. Here we go. We're immediately taking on a Fell Beast. Fell Beast captain. Let's do this number. I don't like going up against this dude at all, but here we are. What we got for abilities? Spearcraft? No. I'm going to drain his health first and foremost. Heal that man. All right, what do we got now? Who is up? Barathor, my guy. Okay. You, my dude. We're gonna do something a little bit different. Company Mike. We run it. Hadhod, I'd love to keep you in, man. Love to keep you in. For right now, dude. You're probably gonna run Mountain Rage, probably. Maybe run Crippling Smash. I don't know if he'll probably be immune. Never mind. Never mind, it's goated. We got this. Let's do it. Oh, he lost his turn. Okay. And then, Aodan, you got to get out of there, my guy. Where is... That's right, we don't have her. Aodan's our only way to heal right now. This is going to be a tough one, guys. This is going to be a doozy. This is going to be a doozy. We don't have our main healer. Let's not even... Let's just stick with what we got, man. Take that crit, bro. Dude's nasty with the spear. Simple dwarven cleave. Let's do it. All right, there we go. And guys, from time to time, we will most likely like step away for just like a minute or two from time to time, just to check on our... We got another dog in the house, and we're just doing a little babysitting. So I just want to make sure he's doing all right. But for right now, biting blade. Do we run it? No. Let's go swordcraft. We could seriously just run. Stunning strike. Oh, we need to recover AP, bro. We gotta recover some AP. Need it. We need it, need it, need it. Got it, got it, got it. Get it, get it, get it. Bro, gotta have that. I'm almost wondering, does this count? Does that work? Does that actually work? There we go. Let's see here. Yo, Barathor's about to die. So here's what we're gonna help. Time to channel some health, do some healing. Hadhod, dude. We'll just protect Barathor. I'm gonna do this number. Then watch this. We'll taunt foe. No, dude. And then check this. We're just gonna do Orc Bane. Take him out. That's one less turn we gotta deal with. It's less damage for taking. Drain that health. There we go. Bro, look at that. Fear. What's that supposed to do? Let's go stunning strike, bro. Oh, now he's immune. You gotta be kidding me. Why was he not immune earlier, but now he is? Must have been one of those moves he did. Made him immune to being stunned. How about you, bro? You got anything? Let's check it. Immune, okay. Yeah, that's fine. We can always do a decent amount of damage with that, and then good technically we gotta run Fellowship Grace, bro. We gotta do it. Now we got Elgast in here, bro. See what happens with that. Bro, honestly, dude. Greater action points, yeah. Is that going to him? Please say it's going. No, it's not. Gosh dang it, dude. He's on the wrong character. Yo, what up, BB8? Ugh, my childhood. Let's go. Thank you so much for tuning in to the stream. Hopefully, you're having a great night so far. Oh man, I'm just getting molly-whopped over here. About the only thing I can do is just drain health. Drain and channel, bro. We take their health and then we channel it over to our other characters. And dude, man, you are not gonna last too long over here. Okay, yeah, I don't know. Well, we can restore some health. Okay, no, that is actually something I can do. Greater health. Let's do it. Use it on ourselves. Okay, that's perfect. That is perfect. Hadhod can heal while Barathor takes hits. Oh, he's got a counter? Yo, he just stole HP. That's what he did. He said you have an Ilan tattoo. Ooh, I have no man. Taking out the Witch King. That's pretty badass, not gonna lie. Oh man, I'm gonna run Spearcraft, yes. Honestly, I need to make a shirt design that just says "For Gondor." That's it. For Gondor with an exclamation point, as with like Aragorn riding into battle. That'd be pretty cool. I want to go into Photoshop and make my own deal. Hadhod, you still have literally no AP, my guy. Okay, we need greater AP action points. Honestly, I just want greater action points. There it is, long bottom leaf. We're running with it. It's a white tree design on the back too. Ooh, that'd be really cool. Oh yeah, 100%. I've got a coffee mug with that white tree design on it, and I love it. It's got like the white tree design with like, I don't know if it's elven or elvish on it, or if it's black speech. I think it's elvish. Ah, we got Barathor. Barathor, my guy, you're gonna run. Where are we at? Where's the enemy at on health? That's what I want to know. Fail Swordcraft, Guardian Strike. Oh, okay. Oh yeah. We're just gonna run a 3-hit attack. 1, 2, and 3. Yo, we just got the most damage we could there. And Barathor dodged it. Let's go. Dude's a legend. Yo, Hadhod's kind of filthy though with the Flames of Ruin. And that is insane. But I'm not gonna use it right now. It's 200 AP and that hurts. Yo, what up, iHander? You remember this game? Remember it was better till around the end. Gotcha. Oh yeah, I already know what happens at the end. I did my research without meaning to. I like found the ending on, I think I was just scrolling TikTok and I found the ending for this game and I was like, oh, so that's what happens. That's a very interesting. I was like, it's a very interesting ending, but it was still cool that I love how it just kind of runs it runs parallel with the Fellowship and everything that's going on, which is pretty cool. I love kind of making like some of those cool connections and seeing how it all worked out. Bro, I really just want to take out this fellow beast captain already. Yo, BB8, thank you so much for the follow. Let's go. I'm honestly, I might just run. What's he got for AP now? Oh yeah, that's right. Doesn't matter. Let's run Flaming Fury. You can't miss him with it. I got his spirit powers upgraded. I love Hadhod's spirit powers. It's nuts. So I started upgrading it after I was like constantly upgrading strength and health. We can do some hefty damage here. Will it be enough? Probably not. Okay, we gotta get a few more hits off. We'll be all right. He's gonna go in for a fell bite. Ooh, I did like nothing. And yo, no way. We take away 4,000 HP and we gain 191 back. That's pretty wild. Is he close to being dead? He is actually getting rather close. Could run leadership. Everyone's doing all right on everything. Maybe we'll do like a war call. It's only 37 AP right now with the buff I put on. So we're just gonna run it. Get our attacks in, finish this out, take this dude down. So you're always here for Lord of the Rings content. Let's go, BB8. Yes. I'm pretty much trying to grind out Lord of the Rings stuff. And then I was thinking about maybe switching some things up here come May 4th. But I have been putting up Lord of the Rings content since like October. I've just been on the grind. It's been so much fun. Like I've grinded through Return to Moria. Actually, Return to Moria is the first like Lord of the Rings grind I really grinded out. Part of doing this whole saga. I call it kind of like a saga grind. Like I've been going through all of the Lord of the Rings games and but yeah, it started off with Return to Moria. Then I hopped over to Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War, which are those are the Middle Earth games by I think it's just WB Games, Warner Bros. Games. But yeah, played both of those, and then I hopped straight into I think it was just Lord of the Rings: Return of the King by EA. After that, I think it was War in the North, then the Two Towers. After the Two Towers, I think I pretty much ended up on this and LOTR. So I'm kind of bouncing back and forth between this and LOTR. Which LOTR has been like so different for me. Because I've always struggled getting into MMO RPGs, but you said May the 4th, Star Wars maybe? Ooh, BB8, you're already getting the hit. You're already getting the hit. And then I've also and then for another little hint here, I got this poster up on my wall. So, just I'm just gonna be dropping hints about it. It's pretty much all I'm doing. I won't ever say it outright, but I'll drop hints. But yeah, no, like I've kind of had this idea to do this whole saga grind. So I think with May 4th, when I do this, the goal is to start with older games. I have an original Xbox here, so start with older games and then work my way up through like original Xbox, Xbox 360 maybe. It depends on how optimized some of those games were back then, because sometimes it doesn't play well with PC. Like if I get a game that released during the time of the Xbox 360 on PC that's meant to be more of a console game, sometimes doesn't work very well on PC, especially newer computers. So I'm thinking about getting games from my Xbox 360, run it through my capture card, and then we just continue through, you know, going from older games to newer games, older consoles to newer consoles, and just kind of working my way through the whole saga, the whole universe of what's out there. But it's been an absolute blessing, because I mean, I don't have to do a whole lot when it comes to planning, because it's like, okay, I know what I'm gonna play next, I know what I'm gonna do next. I got the whole plan like months ahead of time, and I love it. It's like planning is like no longer a problem. I'm just gonna go, let's go spirit powers. Actually no, Axecraft, crippling smash. What am I doing? Or is he immune? Please don't say he's immune. Oh, let's go. Okay. The fact that he's not immune yet means I can keep delaying the Fell Beast Captain's turn. We'll go, is there something for orcs? He's not a goblin, is he? No, it's an orc. Let's go crippling smash. I guess technically we can keep doing this and delaying turns, and these guys will never get a chance to attack. But, well, he had a counterattack for me. Alright, so we're gonna instantly drain health, work on this orc, get him out of there. That's one less turn we gotta deal with. He's gone. So now it's just the Fell Beast Captain. We're gonna get him with, we're gonna run Stunning Strike. Hopefully this works here. Okay, he's immune. Okay, so the next thing, I gotta figure out what other moves I can run that's gonna mess with his turns. Ooh, Hadhod coming through with a counter attack, and he got the crit. All right, so we'll run Axecraft. We're gonna try crippling smash. See, like Stunning Strike didn't work, so we can't stun him. We can try crippling smash, because that will just slow his attack rate. That's just gonna move his turn further down. We have yet to, I think that's what worked last time. It's crippling smash. Critical hit, yep. He did not, it didn't show immune, so we can just keep doing that. That's perfect. We can run some heals actually. Channel health, let's get Hadhod. So usually, guys, we usually have an elf with us, but she is currently on her own solo mission right now. Part of where we're at here. So we're without her, and the only person we have for heals is technically Aodan, and it kind of works out because he can do some pretty similar stuff. But with Barathor, dude, you gotta, I think we just gotta go for a hit. We're gonna go 3-hit melee attack. We're also gonna run. Ooh, we got a crit. We'll take it. Yeah, we took away 4,000 HP twice, and then we got a crit for 6,000. Hadhod, you are gonna do your usual, man. You're gonna absolutely mess with his turn. Dude won't ever get a chance. So you love that elf character. Animations were so, you're not wrong, BB8, you're not wrong. No, it really was, and I can't wait to get her back, because then we'll be able to add her back to the mix. Her healing is insane though, being able to heal the entire party with one move. Like, I don't think you'll ever beat that. And I think the only things I've upgraded on her has been spirit and then a little bit of speed. So she has so much AP, and I can do heals left and right. It doesn't even matter. Dom, are you getting a little anxious, buddy? You wanna come here? You wanna come here, bud? All right. So we're gonna go ahead and run drain health. Why not? Hey, bud. Hey, buddy. What are you doing, huh? What are you doing? Hadhod, we're literally just gonna do this over and over with Hadhod. He will never get a chance. Yeah, I got a puppy here. Come here, Dom. Come here. Come on, dude. Hey. You want some pets? You want some pets? Come here, Dom. Come here. Come on. There you go, buddy. There you go. He's got a little pit bull in him. Yeah, bud. Yeah. You said use Morgul decay and items? What do you mean by that, State? Welcome back to the stream, man. Domri. Come on, bud. Come on, dude. And items use mortal decay? What's that do? Removes a foe arm. Oh my gosh. I mean, that's also insane. I didn't know that was even a thing. I'm gonna be honest. Stain, thank you so much for the like on the live, man. Let's go, dude. Oh, we're gonna deal some real damage. Again. Let's go, dude. Hey, that crit though, 11,000. I'm gonna run health for Barathor. All right, Hadhod, you're gonna keep, dude. His crippling smash move is just insane. Like, you take their turn and you make sure with this crippling smash to use it every time, and the enemy never gets a turn. They never get a chance to attack. Or that's what it feels like, at least. We'll drain health. The tank's gonna tank, LOL. No tag. Use only on bosses. One used lasts the battle. Gotcha, Stand. Well, I will say this is like, I think this is like the third time I've been in a fight with a Fell Beast and a Nazgul so far in this mission. Like, every time that circle pops up, I get into a battle, this is what I'm battling. Like, this isn't it's not a boss battle, but hopefully it's not like something I keep getting over and over. Hopefully it's done with soon. I feel like I'm gonna say this completely wrong, but Osgiliath? He said, yeah, it gets annoying. Yeah, dude. And I don't have my elf, man. My elf for heals. I don't have her. Yo, what up, Foots? I don't even know how to say it. I'm just gonna call you Foots. From Austria. Welcome to the stream. I'm glad to have you here, man. Let's go. I'm glad to see that Lord of the Rings expands globally. Let's go. That's cool. That was really cool. It's something we all got in common now. Hadhod. Dude, Hadhod can make absolute hell rain from above. Like, just fireballs raining down from a volcano. This flames. Attack many enemies, setting them on fire. Like, it's insane. But I'm just gonna run. I'm still gonna run the same move I've been running. Mutrick, you said watching from Norway. Let's go. Hey, I find that so cool. Like, so cool. Back at high school, we had a foreign exchange student who came over from Norway. Believe it or not, super cool. Said, OMG, so many crits. Also opening a protein bar. My dog's going nuts over here. Barathor, you're gonna go. Dude, honestly, I'm just gonna go with the simple strike. I think game over. We'll move on. We'll probably fight another. Stained as the Michelob. Hey, Stained, I will match you. I'll match you right now. Let me go grab a beer. It's beer 30. I'm grabbing one. Told you guys. Told you. I'll match. It's not a Michelob, but it's a natty. It's not a Michelob, but it is a natty. And natties taste pretty light to me, so. Yo, BB8, you said you gotta sleep. See you later. Thank you so much for stopping in the stream. I hope you have a great night. All right, let's do this. It's time to Stain. We're about to just like grind through this for a little while, and it'll probably take me like 10 minutes to finish this drink. Might unless I want to sip on it. Oh, it's a checkpoint. Checkpoint. Let me save this. All right. What do I got for playtime? I think I was just over 31 hours. It's 9:02. I've been streaming 34 minutes. I might be at, honestly, my guess, 31 hours. We're gonna go 31 hours and 40. I'm gonna call 40 minutes. I'm gonna guess that. I like to make random ass guesses like that. See how close I get. No. 32 hours now. Yeah, that's it. Start cheers, let's go. Beers. I see what you did there. Stain. Yo, Fooch. He said, man, I wish I could have a beer too. Still stuck in the night shift for, 2 more hours. Hey, that's only 2 more hours. You'll be off work. You'll be able to relax, chill, and enjoy yourself a nice beer. I'm over here. I'm double dipping like a madman. Probably shouldn't be, but I am. Food's saying cheers as well. Let's go. All right, let's do this, guys. We're about to go. Honestly, this is the group. I don't need to run with anyone else necessarily. This is the crew right here, and we're gonna run. Man, what do we do first? I'm gonna run Fellowship Grace. Dude, I could run Royal Grace. Ooh, I could go Captain's Inspire first. Hit Captain's Inspire. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm crazy like that. What's Rick? You said it's 4 a.m. in Norway. Gotta go. got to sleep. Good luck and have fun. Dude, thank you so much for tuning in the stream, man. I appreciate you stopping in. It's always a pleasure. Let's go. I gotta get some heals going. We're gonna channel health over to Barathor. Dude, Barathor's just been taking hits. Oh, they just put my guy to sleep. Can unlock Shield of Courage. Ooh, it's on Barathor and you need it for in-game gacha. I might be earning towards that right now. I'm not gonna lie. Boots, you said 4 a.m. there too. Let's go. Yeah, you guys are either up super late or up super early. For me, it's only 9 o'clock p.m. It's only 9:05 p.m. here. And I'm just in the middle of the United States. All right, Hadhod, you're gonna go crazy. Well, no. That's elf medicine. Heal our we're gonna heal our healer. That's kind of weird to say. Stan, you said your Barathor was doing like 29,000 damage per hit, bro. You were a lot smarter with your upgrades. I kind of messed with them a little bit when really I should have just aimed for like a few stats and called it quits. Dahmer, yeah, move, dude. I didn't want to run him over with my chair. Okay. They always gonna pick on. I swear. It's like either Hadhod or Barathor. Only 2 characters the enemies ever go for. And they're my tankiest characters, and they just go after them constantly. Whoever's the 3rd character never gets picked on. It's like if it's an Nazgul or an Orc, it's like, oh, there's Barathor, there's Hadhod. Those are the only 2 targets we ever go after. Unless they do a full-on like, unless it's an attack that hits everyone. Dude, I could just rain absolute hell. Let's do it. We got Flames of Ruin. Flames of Ruin. Dude, we'll fuck them up with this. I love this move. I love this Spirit Power move so much with Hadhod. Like, this is one move I cannot get enough of. You said you beat the game like 8 times now, going crazy, Stain, to get minions first. What up, A1? What's going on? You said you love this game. Let's go. Honestly, this has been my first ever playthrough, and like for a turn-based game, like honestly, this is only the 2nd turn-based game I've ever played. And it's also the 2nd turn-based game I've ever been willing to play, I should say that. Because like other than this, I only played I played Pokemon growing up on my Game Boy. Okay, I gotta go health for the whole party, man. Is there... Can we restore greater health for the whole party? Is that a thing? Said you should try using Adriel, Barathor, and Hadhod. Oh yeah, I would 100% use her, only she is separated right now from the rest of the crew, so I can't exactly use her right now. So I'm stuck using Aodan. I believe that's how you say it. Aodan. My guy on the right with the spear, like he's my only healer now. So it's been kind of rough going, trying to figure out how to use him, but he's been kind of nice. Said you're at this point. Oh yeah, I'm gonna Osgiliath. Am I saying that right? I think I'm saying that right. But yeah, I am on that map right now. And it's been a doozy. I think I'm really close to the end because I noticed on the map it kind of came to like an end point, and it's a matter of me just walking over to that point and maybe getting into that final fight to kind of move on to the next area or even unlock evil mode. But yeah, I'm just kind of I'm getting there. I'm close. Everyone needs health. We could go some health and action. There's not much we can do. There's no restoring greater health to the party right now, which is unfortunate. So Hadhod might go down. Went for Barathor. Okay, Barathor crit. Okay, no, I thought Barathor was going to get a counter off that, and he never did, man. He never did. He normally gets a counter. This chieftain's about done. Might run actually Fellowship Grace. I'm just gonna do Biting Blade. I'm gonna do my best not to use up like much there. Okay, perfect. Got Aodan. Well, I'm just gonna run Channel Health. Who needed Hadhod? Hadhod needed it bad. We'll take care of this man. Said you have 2 locations to go. Gotcha. Said use Mountain Shield for Hadhod. Take some hits. That's true. I didn't think about that. Run that defense game. I haven't even done anything for damage, but we will. I'm probably gonna do that, honestly. I'm probably gonna run Mountain Shield and then you know, take whatever hits comes out of that, because obviously it won't be able to deal that damage, and then yeah, we'll get some hits in and be good to go. Use leaderships for Barathor. I normally do, but when it comes to this Felby's captain, he does a lot more damage than other people can do for me. So it's kind of tough. I try to mix and match what I'm doing. But like right now, I'm trying to work on. I think I started with kind of regenning AP. I like to do that. I need to just heal, bro. Heal our healer again. Hadhod will go. We'll use Mountain Shield. Nope, never mind. Hadhod's not going now. Okay, cool. Drain health. I'm fine with. Actually, I'm not fine with it. There you go, Hadhod. You're gonna go crazy, man. You're gonna go crazy. Mountain Shield, dude. Protection. We need it, dude. We need it so bad. Oh. Oh, A1, you're saying Morgul Decay. Yeah. So I was running Morgul Decay earlier. I just assumed maybe I needed to save it for boss fights and not necessarily like these fights. Just because these fights have been continuous and multiple, I've had multiple of them. So in my mind, I was thinking maybe I should save them for a harder challenge. I could also just run perfect mode like this. Deal damage. That didn't do much for damage, did it? I'll taunt him. That way Barathor takes the damage. I've also got Barathor built like a tank too, so not saying he can take all the damage, but he can take some. And we'll heal our guy over here. So does crippling strike on Hadhod work on it? It does. And that's what I was running last time. I was 100% running crippling smash every yeah, it was crippling smash that I kept running. So like Hadhod, watch this. This is what I was doing last time. I should have just stuck with it. Crippling smash. We slow him down. Take that turn away from him. He hasn't countered it, so we can just keep doing that over and over as we like continue to get our heals back because we need it. Actually, we don't even need to do that. Bro, like, I'll just run King's Foil. You just start slowly getting everyone healed up, and then we'll just keep running crippling smash with Hadhod. Dude's just gonna he'll never allow him to get a turn. So we'll channel health. Hadhod. So Barathor, Adriel, and Hadhod all learning crippling or stun. Yep, A1. Yep. I've got Barathor can now do a stunning strike. Hadhod will basically he just fucks with our turns, dude. It's so nice. Hadhod currently has the crippling smash, which slows him down. Honestly, oh, he's got this ability down here in the corner, the 2-strike attack that will also stun. But I've noticed some enemies are actually immune to being stunned, so it's like, okay, then you're forced to run crippling smash. So it's nice having those options. What we got here? 606. Bro, I might just run Mountain Shield again. Could also run Devastating Shield, a group shield that harms foes who strike it. I kind of like that too. Kind of mess with them a little bit. I could run Flaming Fury. Nah, I don't know what I'm doing, bro. Crippling smash every time. See, like I start thinking, maybe I want to try some other moves, but then it's just like, why? If crippling smash is working, why change it? We're gonna run. Let's do a little company might, maybe. I could also just run. Boom. I don't think stunning strike works on these guys. I think they're immune to the stun. Just get some hits off. You're saying use Cleaving Wound? I'll run with that next time. And then we always drain his health. I find that to be kind of sick. Like being able to do that. That's so cool. Just draining the health and then giving it right back to yourself. Hadhod. Oh, Cleaving Wound. That was it. Damage over time. What's going on, Chris and chat? Welcome to the stream. We're gonna do it. Cleaving Wound. That'll do damage over time. I know that. I saw that in the description, so. Hey, Chris, thank you so much for the follow, man. Let's go, dude. My lights just went real bright. I think I will run Drain Health again. I'm gonna run Foul Breath. That's gonna hurt us all probably. Yo. Oh, no, just Aodan. Cool. I will take that. Might run a little. I can't remember if I've ran company mine or not, but I'm gonna do it. Chris, you're asking what game is this? This is Lord of the Rings: The Third Age. I don't actually have a hard copy on me. I will at some point, but this is a game that released. What was it? I think it was like original Xbox, PlayStation 2, GameCube. It was kind of that era. I think it came out in 2004, so it's kind of a classic within the world of Lord of the Rings and all those games that I've released over time. All right, we're gonna run. Do we run Mountain Shield again? It just costs so damn much, you know. No, I think we just run Crippling Smash. It's so hard not to run a move that works so damn well. Just running it over and over and over. So which emulator you on, PS2 or GameCube? I am currently on a PlayStation 2 emulator. I think it's called like PCXS2 is the emulator. But I mean, it's been holding up pretty damn well, and you're able to add in some nice little upscaling filters to make the game look a little sharper, a little bit better than it probably would on like the original consoles. So you think triangle or circle will show status effects? Gotcha. This is my X, technically this is square. But you said triangle or circle, which would be my Y or B button. But none of those are doing anything for me unless I like remapped it or something. There's player status. Oh, that's actually it. That's it. That's it right there, A1. We get all of our status effects. That's cool. So I can see what's still in effect and hasn't worn off yet. I didn't know you could do this. I did not know you could do this. Yeah, dude, that's cool. Okay. So everyone's got company might. Only one of them doesn't have the Mountain Shield activated, which I'm fine with. Biting Blade. Double attack? Nah, Swordcraft. We're just gonna run it. Let's just do... Dude, honestly, decreases armor, bro. Why not? We have a way of like removing his turn from the list every time. Basically, it's until Hadhod runs out of AP. Kyle, you're saying the movie games and this is fire. Dude, are you talking about, oh, you're talking about EA and their basically is there like Return of the King and the Two Towers, both those games? Dude, do you guys know if there was a third game in that installment, or was it just the Two Towers and just Return of the King? Was that it? I thought I heard there was like a Fellowship game, but it was, I don't know if it was just something completely different. You know what? Rupture armor. He's gonna ignore armor and deal out his damage. So, yep, those are the best ones. And no, there was Fellowship of the Ring. Okay, it wasn't the greatest. I think way different. Okay. So I thought maybe I saw a little bit of gameplay on that. That was like more of like a RPG kind of like action adventure type of game, right? I could have swore I saw gameplay on it at one point, and the guy was talking to Tom Bombadil at the beginning, just running around exploring. And also, thank you so much for the what was that? Was that a follow, A1? Thank you so much, dude. Let's go. But yeah, dude, I have now officially like beat both of those games. I will say I haven't beat the challenge missions that you unlock at the end of the game, but I've at least beat the game and then did a little bit more. So like what's cool about that though is I have yet to beat the games on hard. So it's like I'm always leaving room to like come back at some point. Where are we at on AP? Honestly, it's like not even worth it. Biting Blade. No AP cost tech that converts damage to HP. I kind of like that. And just keep running it. It's honestly, it's no different than Aodan's drain health ability. We're gonna run, dude. I got like a hair caught in my glasses. That's gonna drive me nuts. All right, Adhod, you're gonna keep doing your thing, man. Keep doing your thing. We're gonna run Crippling Smash. It's like usually it's nice until he misses, and then all hell breaks loose. Just running these like low HP, not even low HP, just no AP attacks is basically what I'm starting to run. We go Spearcraft, yeah. This might actually take him out. Nope, not quite. So, holy cow, you played so much of this game. What up, Connor Short? What's going on? Still having an OG Xbox and the game. Connor, I got something to show you, man. Check this thing out. All right, I'm gonna switch this over just real quick. All right, I've got my OG Xbox right here with the Duke controller and custom little thumb grips on the sticks. Dude, actually, I don't know if you ever played the Path of Neo, but I created my own little custom cover for this thing. And I kept the back like somewhat similar with some of the layout, but yeah, dude, I got my own not too long ago, dude. A1, I have tried Evil Mode, and Evil Mode is so much fun, dude. It's so much fun wiping out the protagonists. Oh man, said heck yeah, OG controller too, dude. Yeah, I have the Duke. I have what's like, I think the OG I think it was just called like Xbox S or Xbox Series, not Series S, Xbox S, I think that's what it's called, which is like the smaller, more compact version. And then I have a cheap knockoff $20 one that works for this console, but it was more so made in more recent years, and I just got it off Amazon. So I have 3 controllers right now. A1, you said you get bonus items to use. Yep, A1, dude, yeah. I run Evil Mode every time I unlock it for a new area. Some let you learn new attacks and create items. Gotcha. Like crafting. I have a crafting ability I haven't even bothered to grind out with Hadhod, which is unfortunate, but and then Adriel, she uses some kind of like dark craft or something like that. So you got an Xbox, PlayStation 2, GameCube, and A1. I am going after the N64 eventually. Like I want to have an N64. Because I have plans like probably a long ways down the road. And when I say long ways down the road, I probably mean like here in a year and a half. I have plans to grind out all of the Spider-Man games, and I want to start from the N64 and then work my way up. Like I might play like 1 game on the N64, then play like 2 to 3 on the original Xbox, and then move on and play a ton on the 360, on the Xbox 360. And then anything that's like more modern day, like Insomniac's their little series that they got going on with Marvel Spider-Man, like those I can just play on my PC. So yo, Connor, you said you have the two of the Dukes. First time running through Third Age, or played? It's my first time running through it, dude. I've been on a huge Lord of the Rings grind since October. It all started with Return to Moria, which is a crafting survival game that came out a little more recent. And then, dude, it's basically just turned into me grinding Lord of the Rings game after Lord of the Rings game, and here I am now on the Third Age. And I'm playing the Third Age, and I'm playing a little bit of LOTR, Lord of the Rings Online. I'm usually trying to switch over to LOTR like towards the end of the stream, just to like continue that grind a little bit and trying to gain a level or two. Dude, Flaming Fury. Why not? Get a spirit power move in. I don't know if we're maxed on our spirit yet, or spirit power abilities with the Hadhod. Yo. A1, you're saying your cousin took... You took... Oh, wait, what is that? Or... I don't even know how you say that. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Orcarna? I don't even know how you say it. I'm crazy. I can't even pronounce that. I don't know why. Connor, you're saying, do you know how skills develop? You won't say if you want to have the first experience, all you. I know I can sit there and eliminate all of my enemies and save the weakest one and then just eliminate his move every single time, or I can just put him to sleep for multiple moves, and I can basically just spam all these different move sets on all my characters that don't deal damage over time, and then it's just like I'm upgrading my passive skills, I'm upgrading my spirit powers, or if it's a melee attack that does no damage, it just does something else. It's like, yeah. A1 wants to see my Barathor skills? Alright. Like, I think I'm getting closer to the end. I don't think I'm getting close to the end, but I think I'm getting there. Honestly, let's just run one in strength too. I want him to be able to do a little bit of both. It's a little more balanced, unfortunately. Aodan, my guy. Run spirit. You're my other healer. You gotta be healing. So you want to check out the skills for Barathor. Are you wanting to see swordcraft, leadership? You want to look at the passives? Oh, what we taking a look at? Is it Orca Arena a time? Oh, it's the N64 Legend of Zelda. Oh, A1. See, I played the smallest bit of Legend of Zelda, but it wasn't ever my game. It was a game my cousin had, so I played it a little bit, but like not enough to really have memories of playing it. Like I just remember like one or two times like actually being on the game. You said leadership and passive? Okay. There's Shield of Courage. That actually looks kind of fire. Right now I'm working on company power, improves the probability. Snapchat audio? Why is my buddy calling me on Snapchat right now? I'm not gonna take that right now. But so the more you use a skill line skill, it unlocks stronger versions in that line. Oh, you're talking about the entire skill tree? How they have entire skill trees and you just work your way down it? Like this? Like how I have everything unlocked under Barathor's passive skills? So where's he at in Swordcraft? I have the Stunning Strike, which I'm happy to have. I kind of want that. I really want that Gondor Rampage, though. I'm not gonna lie. You have to make sure to use its weaker versions. Gotcha. Oh yeah. Because you gotta use it so many times, and then boom, it goes to the next upgrade. Like in order for me to go past all retreat and company rallied, like to go a section down, I literally have to use I'll retreat 35 times or company rally 50 times. And as soon as I hit one or the other, boom, I get the next two abilities unlocked underneath. A1, you're saying, all right, good. You have max passive for Barathor. That's great. You'll need it next turn. Gotcha. What's... Oh, yeah. The might increases health. Double attack too. Take 2 extra actions in his turn. You have to select which skill you want to learn, and you can use any skill 50 times to unlock it. Gotcha, A1. Oh, yeah. I forgot you can actually, yeah. I just kind of got to a point to where, like, I was like, I kind of got everything I wanted, so I was just going to let the game go ahead and just start earning towards whatever it had randomly picked next. I wasn't too worried. What's Aodan working towards? I'm kind of curious, man. Transfers some of his action points to another party member. That's pretty sick, I'm not gonna lie. Can transfer defense to another party member. Like, that is so cool, bro. Drains enemy health and transfers it to your group. Oh, that sounds nice. Dude, I'm kind of liking some of this dude's. Okay, what's Rampage of Helm? A melee attack that allows him to strike 5 times. 5 times, bro? Still looking good, being your buddy. Riding through this, made mistakes on your first run of kids. Gotcha, Connor. Dude, well, what's nice is, like, since I'm streaming it, I've had some help along the way, and it's been so nice. Like, everyone's kind of like, you know, kind of told me to try this or this, you know. They've told me different, like, grind methods, different things to do to, like, work towards unlocking those skills. Like, I've had help along the way. It's not like I'm playing this completely blind, which is nice. It's especially nice for me because it's harder for me to stick with, like, a turn-based type of game. It's just not, like, the type of games I'm, like, used to really playing. So it's, dude, like, having that help there has just eliminated time for me, and it's cut down on time, and I've been able to just focus on my progression for majority of the game. A1, you're saying if you want characters to use healing skills, give light crafting to anyone besides Adriel. They learn. Okay, her healing skills. Ooh, okay. Yeah, my buddy texted the group chat. He was like, damn, none of you guys picked up your phone, because he was trying to call, and I was like, bro, I'm midstream. Okay, it's like, bro, I worked up these 4. You give me 2 more. let's hold on. What's our HP looking like? We're not looking terrible. I think HP's all right. Yeah, my buddy was getting, he's getting butthurt because he was trying to call people and no one's picking up. It's funny. What is this? Why does this map look like a massive puzzle on the right? Like, why am I just over here running in tunnels, man? I'm terrified. Like, what is up ahead? Like, I want to go straight. I think it's just gonna be loot at the end, but I'll have to do more battles. Oh yeah, go save it. Refills HP and AP. Okay. Oh, that's like every little checkpoint where I'm saving. That's dope. Oh wait, hold up. Wait a minute. We're solo with Adriel, which is perfectly fine. We got this. They literally won't stand a chance, man. So you're gonna have to restart. You know you lost. Oh shit. What did I do? What did I do wrong? Oh, god damn. Oh, I definitely lost, bro. Yeah, I don't know what's going on right now. I don't know why they got so many attacks off. You said staggering is infinite hits. What do I do about that? Like, I've never experienced that before, to where they just get hit after hit after hit after hit on me. Like, I don't actually remember dealing with that before. Can't remember if I actually did or not. He said, glad to see someone having fun with the third age after so long, but gotta go. Valor will be with you. Thank you so much, Connor. Dude, thank you so much for stopping in, man. He said you're stunned. All you can do is take it like a good boy. Shit. What's like the best counter for that? Oscilia rooftops. We were down in the tunnels. Dude, thank you so much for the follow, Connor. Dude, hell yeah. Oh, we're back at the save point. That's kind of a bummer. You know what I might do? I might actually... Ooh, wait. Wait a minute. Hold up. Oh, wait. There we go. I want to check if I had any new equipment. I don't think I did. All right. So here's the really cool thing I'm about to do. Since we're running this off an emulator on our PC, this thing is so sick. We have the ability. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm probably going to switch over to some LOTR and just try to progress a little bit in that before I hop off for the night. But like, what's really cool here with this emulator, I can click on the X on it, on the X, or the X on the window for the emulator. I will go ahead and click. You can't even see it, man. Oh, that's so depressing. So like right now it says confirm shutdown. Are you sure you want to shut down the virtual machine? And I can check a box that saves the state, so I can just resume from here, like tomorrow night whenever we pull it back up. This is the exact menu we'll leave off from, and we'll just continue. But we're gonna hop into a little bit of LOTR to end the night. In that game, you guys tell me. Do I want to run? Are we feeling our Bayorn build on the Angmar server, which is a dead server, or do we want to play an active server and glam with our what was it? Our lore master build. A1, you said you use double attack and power of valor and keep bet. Okay. I'm gonna remember that one, A1. Double attack and power of valor. Okay. My battery's low? What? Is that not charging? Am I crazy for thinking I was... Oh, my phone was not charging. Okay, there we go. Alright, I'm gonna get logged into this bad boy. Alright, A1, do we want a Lore Master build or a Bayorn build that can turn into a bear? So you're also down to check this out? I haven't seen the online gotcha. Okay. I will even... Hold up. Let me pull up my display capture. Boom. And I do play on an ultra wide, so you're gonna see me drag this across the screen. But I've got my glam. I'm gonna be hopping in the glam server. Maybe turn to a bear. LOL. Bet. Say no more. Say no more. In this server, this is a legendary server. So in this server, Nazgul, which are classified as like shadowy wraiths. So maybe it's not like a full-on Nazgul, but like they'll randomly pop up and they can ruin your missions, which is unfortunate. They'll basically pop up. I'm not like ready to kill them or take them on right now, which is really unfortunate. I actually don't think I have to do that. I think if I ultra wide display, turn it off. And then we'll run game capture. I'm gonna, yep. Okay, I think I'm getting that pulled up. There we go. Hey, look at that. Okay. And now I can resize this just a smidge. Okay, maybe not. There we go. Here's the best course of action. I manually resize until we hit close to the edge. All right. So this is our character Tug. He's a Bayorn. He's a descendant of Bayorn. It can turn into a grizzly bear, and that's like my tank form. Like, he's an absolute unit. I want to make sure. Yep, we got game audio. Cool. We're gonna play as this dude. Yeah, so this is Lord of the Rings Online. I think this originally released in 2007, so it's an oldie. It's an oldie, just like the Third Age, just a little bit newer. So what classes are there in here? Well, so you got, so like this is a, what do you call it? I think it's just called Bayorn. I think that's all the class is called. And it works really well because like when I'm in man form, I can heal. When I'm in bear form, I become super tanky, and my attacks, I think I deal a lot more like critical damage. But like there's a lore master build, which is essentially a build with a staff, and it's your Gandalf build. It's your Gandalf build. I mean, that's the best way to put it. You can be like, there's multiple different classes, and there's multiple different races. I mean, obviously you got your high elves, you got your elves, you got your, I think your woodland elves, you got hobbits, you got I don't think you can be any orcs. Like, you can't be anything evil. I'm trying to think. I think you can be a thief. I think a thief is one. So like, kind of like your hobbit burglar. It's your hobbit burglar build, your Bilbo Baggins build, basically. I think you could run as like a captain, which, I mean, that starts to get into a lot more of like your melee combat. You could run as like honestly, dude, real quick, I think I might be able to just like, I'll start up a new character, but like I won't actually finalize one. I can show you. I'm wondering, can I just, duck my head? I don't know if that'll show everything for you. I can do this though. I can do this number. I can drag this over for you, and you can see this right here. So we got different races, right? So we got man, high elf, dwarf. I don't have these unlocked, but there's stout. Wait. Lord of the Rings Online. What you doing? There we go. There's a stout axe. What in the world? I assumed you'd be like the same as the dwarf. There's a river hobbit, elf, Bayorning, which is this is my race. And then I can pull this over for you. We can look at different classes. So Bayorning, I mean, that's essentially, they classify it as an advanced class, but it's really not that difficult to get down. There's burglar, brawler, captain, champion, guardian, hunter, lore master. I don't even know what a mariner, minstrel, I don't even know what those are. Rune keeper. A rune keeper might be super OP for healing. That's what I'm kind of thinking. I think it'd be like healing or doing some kind of like magic. There's a warden as well. But yeah, these are, oh, there's ChatGPT. But there's Those are kind of like the different races, different classes, and we will actually pull up our game capture there. There we go. Let me get that. There we go. Get that centered for you guys. So we're gonna go right back in. Yo, Taz, thank you so much for the like on the live. I see that coming through. Let's go. See, so that's actually all the classes that put it. Dude, yeah. Well, A1, what's crazy is like they're still out here releasing new content for this game, and it's been out since 2007. So like, you know, they've been probably adding over time. I don't imagine that's like all the classes that were there initially. Yo, what up, Zachary? He said, how do you like it? So currently the title of my stream is Lord of the Rings: The Third Age. I was playing the Third Age earlier and then just now switched on over to some LOTR. LOTR, I noticed it's a lot slower, it's a lot more chill and kind of laid back, which I don't mind at all. I will say sometimes I get lost in my quests. Like right now, ooh, go up to a farm. Go to there's a stable master there. Okay. Yep, you back? What's down? What's Ralph doing? Oh, sorry boys. I'm back. I'm back. There we go. Let's do this. Oh, dude. We can zoom in and out. We can control our camera angles, which is sick. Taz, thank you so much for the gifts, dude. Let's go. I'm gonna collect some copper. You're making my lights go crazy. Look at this. Look at this. Ah, it went from blue to... It crashed earlier. Or it went from blue to nothing. Hold on. Check this out, guys. Exclamation point green. We'll make that bad boy flash. Alright, but let's do this. We're gonna take all that. Do we have any gifts? We do. I don't have enough room. Bro, you guys should have seen it last night. Or not last night. Last night was my wildcard Wednesday night. Played a completely different game. But 2 nights ago when I was on this thing, I was in the middle of doing a quest for a Hobbit. And I had a Wraith show up, kill the Hobbit I was doing the quest for. And he wouldn't leave. So we jumped over to the Glam server and avoided that mess. I don't want to worry about the copper deposit. What do I have selected? Dude, we could go to Homesteads of Gondor, dude. Where's I thought that would flash on my screen at me. Maybe not. Pipeweed. I kind of want to do my pipeweed delivery. That's not bad at all. That's way over there. It's past Breetown. I cannot remember how to move my tracker, my on-map tracker, to something different. Yo, what up, some guy? This is Lord of the Rings Online. We were on Lord of the Rings: The Third Age earlier, and now we're just grinding through some of this. Pretty much doing this to end the night, and we're basically just trying to progress through this and Third Age. Trying to for sure beat the Third Age, and then this game I'm just trying to see wherever I kind of can get to. Definitely with a little more focus on the Third Age, but dude, this has been an absolute blast. What's down here? Building the Bree homestead. Oh, you know what? That's 15. We're level 15. Actually, we can do that. Let's do that. Guys, we're gonna go build a house. Omri, you getting something to eat, dude? I'm gonna text these guys. Oh, no way. I think this is where we died last time, bro. Yo, we definitely died here before. Oh, this is gonna be insane. Midgewater Marshes. Now we gotta talk to this guy. Not allowed while mounted. Well, I'm trying to get off the damn mount. Shift 5. That's all we've been around in. Current quest: building the Bree homestead. Okay.
Greetings, friend.
Continue. Wait, where's that gonna drag us? Oh, whoa, that's crazy. Ah, and there's like all kinds of different homesteads. That's nuts to me. Oh my goodness. Bring the work order to Bill Twiggins? Where's Bill Twiggins, bro? Bill Twiggins got me tweaking. Where is he? He's way the fuck down there. Okay. Vault Keeper? Forge Master. Oh shit, okay. Guys, I don't know. Should I be picking something certain here? I don't really know what to do. I'm picking homesteads. Blackwall sounds cool. Let's enter. Housing neighborhoods. You have inner housing neighborhood. The houses here can be or have been purchased by players or kinships. This neighborhood has vendors offering various wares, including items to decorate a house, as well as... Ooh, okay. I dig it. Dude, this is kind of dope. Town crier, escrow broker. Yo, what up, A1? Yeah, quick trip to 7-Eleven, bet. Bet, dude. I'm trying to figure out. I think I'm just heading straight to my quest. Isn't that crazy? Look at that water quality. They did such a good job on that. What happened to the rest of the graphics? That quality is actually right. All right, here we go. What a ring in the corner. There we go.
Greetings, friend.
All right. Oh, he's just gonna dip on us. That's what he's gonna do. Got a vault we can open. We can open our wardrobe. Browse the
What can I
shop.
do for you?
Ooh, we got personal housing storage.
What do you need?
Bro, I gotta get a house. So this game itself looks pretty decent. Graphics for 2007 online game. That's true, dude. Yeah, it kind of caught me off guard a little bit. I mean, that's not the best, but it's not terrible either. I've seen worse. Alright, we're gonna talk to this lady. Main quest line.
Hello, friend. Could you help me
This
with
is
something?
Winda. Or no, we gotta go talk to Winda. This is it's a repeatable quest that I've previously completed. I'll still do it. I'm not saying I will. Bro, I'm kind of curious. Let's go look at we can legit look at houses to buy. Which is kind of weird. Not something I'd expect. So is our community still here, or are you on a private server? So I think I'm on a definite dead server. I'm playing on a legendary server of Angmar. And I'm only playing on it because I wanted to experience the shadowy wraiths. But like I think it's a pretty dead server, if I'm being honest. My other character's on a pretty populated server. Okay, so let's see this. Standard house cost, let's say 1 gold, 50 silver. I have 1 gold, 400 silver. It's not terrible. We could buy a house, bro. What up, WB? Welcome back, dude. Dude, they got houses in this game? Like, what's happening? Have you, WB, have you played some LOTR before? What are we? Mailbox. Oh, this is some. Oh, yeah, this is 100% somebody else's house. Because they got like all these cool decorations. They got boxes out here. I don't know why. Premium ingredient crate. Ooh. That's cool. This is like, these are other subscribers to LOTR. Because I've also. It's very, very little, but I'd love to get back at it. Gotcha, WB. Dude, like, it's honestly a great game. It's just like it's sometimes tough to stick with it because of how how slow the pace is, because it just takes forever going from area to area, and you're just it's a much slower game. I've noticed like sometimes it's a little more of a challenge for me to stick with them, but so far I've stuck with this one. Don't know how much longer I'll be on it, but so no, I do have mounts. Dude, I'm just like getting lost in it. I'm just exploring, looking around, looking at these different houses and shit. Oh yeah, there's another one. Ooh, there's a one right up on this hill. Oh no, someone's got that. That's buy, dude. I could buy that. Can you upgrade the look of your house? Like if I buy that, can it eventually become a bigger house? Like that guy's got a massive looking house. Holy cow. Those are mansions over here. You know, some of these houses are kind of crazy. Oh shit. What we got? What are we working with here? For sale sign. Cost 7 gold, 150 upkeep. What? This is like up on a hill, guys. Fenced in. That's kind of cool. Here we go. We'll get going. Dom, chill, bro. My dog's barking. Oh, it's no way this is for sale. Oh, it's the house right before the mansion. Yeah. It's that 1 in 50. I got it. Bro. No way. He's got stone trolls at his front door, dude. That's crazy. No way. Like, who is this dude? What did I do? What? Is that a wraith? Bruh, it's a wraith. That's what it seems like. You say you play Return to Moria yet? Yeah, WB. Oh, WB, I beat that. I beat that back in like November. I beat it and then I played some of the Durnsfolk DLC. Dude, honestly, for a survival crafting game, I thought it was a lot of fun. And then you include like Lord of the Rings lore type stuff into it, and it's, dude, it's great. I'd highly recommend, if you like survival crafting, I highly recommend it. The combat in it's pretty meh. But I love survival crafting progression. That's like my favorite thing. Dude, let's go WB. That's sick. I know exactly what you're talking about, dude. Bro, there's like homes all over the place. Okay.
What can I do for you?
If I go out, I'm gonna go to Hangstacer's farm. Hangstacer Farms, okay. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna find it. All right. So we're gonna do it better this time. Ooh, unfortunately your OG Xbox kicked the bucket, so you and your buddy get restart third age again. Dude, nice. Let's go WB. Dude, hell yeah. Hell yeah, man. Oh, this is for sale? Oh, 7 gold. I don't have that. You got stuck on Helm's Deep. Oh, talking about your last time playing it through. This is crazy. They just keep coming, dude. Yeah. Yeah, Helm's Deep's always a pain in the ass. This is for sale. Dude, I wish I could just fast travel. Might be able to. Let's go. We're returning, bro. We're WV. I'm gonna return. You said play Tales of the Shire. I have yet to do that, dude. I haven't touched Tales of the Shire. I need to look at more gameplay. I've seen a little bit, and that was it. I need to look through like a whole playthrough on it and see how it is. Alright, there should be a stable master? Where is this dude? I'm gonna grab the guy with the horse. Bro, I can't find him. This is crazy. Is he further in town? Oh, it's in Combe. Oh man. Oh, let's leave here. This is kind of like the beginning area. So it's like a cozy game. You just fix up your hobbit hole and cook a lot. Was there progression in it? Can you beat it? Or is it just more for like cozy vibes? We'll have fun here. Let's go take on a bear. Oh, he said there's definitely missions in it. Okay. Gandalf's in it? No way. Bro, I'm gonna have to look at that. He pops in. Yo, what up, amateur? You said final download it again? Oh shit. Hey dude, thank you so much for the follow. Let's go, man. Same no. Oh man, yeah, dude, I'm on the Angmar server. I'm just like, I'm getting lost in everything. I'm just looking for enemies to take on right now. Wait, I am technically in combat. Alright. You said BRB? Bet. Is it take a rip? Bet. Cheers, man. Alright, here we go. We're finally out of that area. Just need to get to the stable master. There we go.
What do you need?
I don't even know what I just did. Oh, shoot. Can I skip this? Or did they just make you ride? Oh, I did that WB. Oh yeah. Press this button to end your travel. Make one in. What up, Sonny? What's going on, dude? Okay, I think, are we on Bree? I think we're on Bree. I'm gonna stop here. Alright, so we have to go down this road and then take a right. Hey,
Another warrior joins the fellowship. Let's
thank you so
go.
much for the follow. WB over on, I'm guessing another platform. Dude, much appreciated, man. Much appreciated.
How can I be of service?
So you jumped over. Oh, bet, dude. Thank you so much, WB. Let's go, dude. Hell yeah.
I haven't slept in days.
Well, I'm not gonna worry about completing that quest. I don't even know how to do that. I don't think there's anything left for me here. I need to head north. Okay, I need to go north now? I'm going all over the place. So you think that new Lord of the Rings game is gonna have co-op? Dude, I hope so. It's not do or die for me, but I would prefer it. Dude, thank you so much for the gifts, dude. Let's go. Let's go, dude. It'd definitely be sick, dude. That's my difficulty guy. Alright, I need to go north. I don't even know where I'm at. There we go. Yep. Alright, let's keep rolling. Where was that chapter 1? Honestly, it's in Breetown? Dude, I gotta go do that. I gotta go do that so bad. Dude, that'd be sick, honestly. Return of the King would be nasty, like something comparable to that. I think we talked to Aragorn here. So you're excited for the dude for sure. Oh, maybe. You know what? I think he's gonna be down the hall. Oh, it's Gandalf. Oh shit. Okay. Alright. Found him. Just gotta find Strider. Oh, that's his room. Okay. Yep.
Are you ready to leave?
Prepared to travel yet? Let's travel.
Strider and the Rangers pursue their fallen brother Amdir to the Black Wolves' camp. But not all is as it seems.
That's kind of cool. Dude, that was kind of cool. A little announcement.
There is evil afoot.
Alright, let's do it. Where are we going?
What do you need? Are you ready?
Let's do it. Alright. Nope. So it's been a minute since you played. What classes can you pick from this? It was like my Bayorning. There's a lore master, captain, champion, rune keeper. I think there was thief. I know there's a few more. I just can't think of them right now. It's awesome. Definitely giving it another go. Let's go, dude. Yeah, I'm not real big on like MMORPGs, but been trying to give this one a good try.
Silently now. Darkness approaches.
Barrow white? What's this? Alright, bet.
Stay a moment.
Continue this. So what about real-time strategy games? I played a little bit of the Lord of the Ring, what was it, the One Ring mod? Battle for Middle Earth 2. I tried to play. Whoa, 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 whoa. Uh-oh. We're stunned with fear. We can't move. Oh, bet. Okay. Bro, it's Strider going after. Look at that. I think that was Strider going after the Wraiths. Yeah, so I played that a little bit. I just struggled with it. I honestly think I'm just terrible at RTS games. Like, I have fun playing them, but I always feel like I'm bad at them. Oh man, there we go. Dude, I actually think that was a Nazgul in training. Oh, that's crazy.
It's a sorry day. It's a sorry day.
The Nazgul have crossed the Eisen and are heading for the Shire. The hobbits must be quick-footed enough to escape the wrath of the Nine. And we can only hope that Frodo slips through the traps of the enemy.
Dude, that was so loud on my end, but yeah.
Alas, Frondir.
Yo, what up, Cad? Bayorning. $23 armor. That's why I have equipped. That's 20 armor. Ooh, 26 armor. 36. Okay. B for bags. Okay. What do we? So much stuff, dude. Holy cow. We got so many items. I don't need half this stuff. Need to sell a lot of items, guys. I have gifts in here I can't even use. But always been a captain main, gotcha. Honestly, it's been nice. I can just self-heal and then tank. Dude, I've gotta sell so much stuff. I can't. Oh, I think I might just do it in tomorrow night stream. I'm just getting tired. I think that's what I'm gonna do, guys. So here comes tomorrow night. I'm gonna do. We'll continue this some more. So Captain got a heal at a certain level, and he gets a buddy to help out. Ooh, that's nice. But yeah, no, dude. So I think what I'm gonna do is tomorrow night I'm gonna continue some more Lord of the Rings, the Third Age, and then what I've been trying to do is at the kind of on the back half of my stream, I'm trying to play some LOTR and progress. But guys, that's what I'm gonna be doing again tomorrow night. But I think I am gonna go ahead and call it a night. I will be live tomorrow night, probably around 7:30 or 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time. And dude, we're gonna keep progressing these. May 4th, I might be changing things up a little bit, but basically until May 4th, I'm trying to grind these two things out as much as possible. So thank you guys so much for tuning in the stream. We are currently live on Twitch, Kick, YouTube, and TikTok. And guys, have a great night, and I will see everyone tomorrow night.